Hey everyone, welcome to the live magic Q&A tea party. I got my tea in my Cancer cup here. I hope you have your tea, and welcome. If you are here if you're watching this on YouTube or someplace else, Lord knows where it's going to end up. I always put it on YouTube, but you know, things get copied and moved around, who knows. If you're watching this in some place and you're watching a recording of this, want to let you know that this is a live session that we have, a live show that we have where you get to ask questions about magic, spirituality, tarot, divination, all kinds of magical, mystical things. And myself and my guests answer your questions. How do you get into the clubhouse to ask the questions, to be here with us live? It's super, super simple. You go to spellsquad.com and you sign up and you'll get the code, the secret password. It's actually a Zoom link because we have this on Zoom. You'll get the secret password to come in and join us live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, I pulled up the wrong script. I didn't even look at, I did that all out of my head and I pulled up the wrong script. Let me pull up the right script so I can make sure I see everything I'm supposed to see. There we go. All right. So if you are wondering who I am, I'm Madame Pamita, and you can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. I also have a YouTube channel, which is /Madame Pamita. Instagram is /Madame Pamita. Everything is Madame Pamita. If you look up Madame Pamita, you'll find me online. But my website is Parlor of Wonders. If you go to madamepamita.com, you'll find me, but it'll send you over to Parlor of Wonders anyway. We have a couple of things going on there. Of course, if you have been watching this before, I was supposed to be all these places, but I'm not going to any place because everything's shut down and I'm here in LA and staying in my house and all that. But you know what? Doesn't stop anyone from pre-ordering my book. I have a book coming out, the Book of Candle Magic. It's coming out in October, but you can pre-order that book right now on all of your favorite online sources, and you don't even have to pay when you pre-order. You just put in your name, and then when the book comes out, it gets sent to you. So it's going to come out in the beginning of October. It's called The Book of Candle Magic, and it's by Madame Pamita. So I hope that if you're interested in candle magic, you get this book because it will explain everything about candle magic. I mean, it is a really thorough, it is a full course in candle magic, and it tells you how to create your own spells. It's not a recipe book. That's what every other candle magic book out there is, like a little recipe book. This one tells you why, how, what you can use to make your spells amazing. So I hope you check it out. Go look for it online, the Book of Candle Magic. And that's the only thing that I've got going on. Now, I'm going to tell you about my guests. My two guests this time. You guys are getting double trouble today. We've got Dr. Amanda Cohen and we've got Diana Zalucky, and they're joining us, and they both are amazing. They're both amazing friends. They're just a joy. And together we're the three of teacups, right? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
We're saying we're the three of cups before, but now we're the three of teacups because it's a tea party.
Yeah.
So let me introduce them to you and tell you what they're about and who they are and what they do. So Dr. Amanda wave your hand so they know which one is you. There she is. She's a doctor of Chinese medicine and functional medicine, which is something I talk about all the time when I talk about healing spells and healing work and how functional medicine changed my life. So it's something you want to look into. She's the founder of an amazing oasis of healing in Los Angeles called Source Point Wellness. And Source Point Wellness is in Atwater Village, right? It's in Atwater?
Yep. It's
okay.
Just between Silver Lake and Glendale. Cute little area.
It's right. Yeah, it's right between Silver Lake and Glendale. So it's hipster close, right? Is it hipster close?
Totally hipster close. Oh yeah, for sure.
She brings in, what I love about her practice is that she brings in Eastern and Western medicine. So she's super knowledgeable about medicine. And she kind of, I mean, you can stop me if I'm saying anything that's inaccurate, but my observation of you, it's like, what's going to help this patient most? I'm going to pull in this, I'm going to pull in that, I'm going to pull this from over here, and kind of pulling things from a lot of different areas. One of the amazing things that she does do is that she does distance Reiki and acupuncture together. So during this time when you might not be able to go to your acupuncturist, you might not be able to get the service that you need, but you really need some help and some healing, she does distance acupuncture. I would just call it distance acupuncture. She did it on me and I was completely blown away by it because I had some issues and I was like, yeah, it was amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I can totally feel where you're putting in the needles, like where I could totally feel it. It was kind of nuts. And she was laughing at me because I was like having my treatment. I'm like, going, oh my God, I can totally feel it. I'm probably the chattiest patient you ever had doing that. Anyway, what you can find her, so she can treat you no matter where you are in the world. So if you're in Los Angeles and when you're out and about again, and when things get back to normal again, of course you can go to Source Point Wellness, but you can also get this distance healing. It's super reasonable. She can do it with you over the phone. We did it over the phone. It took maybe 20 minutes. It wasn't that long.
Yeah.
Super reasonably priced. And she can do it from anywhere, and she can serve anyone in the world. So you can find her and her whole business and all of the people that provide services for her at sourcepointwellness.com. Now, one of the people who provides services there is Diana Zalucky. And Diana, I met through Princess Farana. I met through Pleasant Gammon. And so Diana is an Akashic Records reader, and she does it. I have to say, like, my Akashic Records reading with you was I had a reading with her. It was so phenomenal and so beautiful. And one of the things, like, it's sometimes like the little things in a reading that you connect with them. And like, I had an amazing reading with lots of downloads of great information with you. But there was one thing that she tapped into. She's like, your grandmother wants you to eat blood oranges. And I'm like, my grandmother was all about blood oranges. Like, how, like, I still get blown away when people find those like very specific things when they're doing what I would call a kind of mediumship work. I know you don't call it mediumship work, but anyway. So she's super, super talented at going into the Akashic and bringing, downloading amazing and helpful information for you. I mean, there was a whole bunch in that reading that was so, so amazing, but that one is just like, I'm all about the ancestor work. And when she gave me like that secret message from my grandmother, I'm like, oh my God, my grandmother is coming through. That's amazing. So she's, so let me tell you a little more about her. She's an Advanced Akashic Records Practitioner. She's a spiritual advisor. She has an amazing podcast. Forgot all about that. The Healer Dealer podcast. So if you're a podcast listener and you're looking for things to listen to, you check out the Healer Dealer podcast. I was interviewed on there. But another thing I love about Diana, her podcast introduces me to all these amazing practitioners in Los Angeles. I'm like, oh my God, that person's amazing. Oh my God, look at that. And actually brought a bunch of practices into my life just by listening to your podcast, which was so, so cool.
Aww.
So at the Healer Dealer, she talks to modern mystics and healers and visionaries. She does Akashic readings, and you can subscribe to the Healer Dealer podcast on iTunes and Spotify. You can follow Diana on Instagram at Diana Zalucky, and it's spelled Diana. Last name is Z-A-L. It's like Z-A and Lucky, right?
Lucky.
You got Lucky in your name.
I know.
I'm sure you have never heard that one before.
Never. You're the lucky one.
And then you can also follow her podcast on Instagram at Healer Dealer Pod. Welcome, you guys. That was a lot of introduction.
Thank you so much for having us. This
Oh
is
my
so
God.
Yeah.
fun.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
so happy to be here.
It's so much fun to get together with you.
We love you.
We
We
love
lo-
you so much. I'm having the tea that we had the last time we were together, just to like be like, oh, we're together. In my bougie teacup, that's like a shot glass of a teacup. But
I know you have 2 sips of that damn tea.
my hands
You're doing
are
like
like,
big
"Rawr." I got it's like a club. Anyway.
All right, so let's talk about like what you guys do. So let's go to like Dr. Amanda. What have you been doing? What are you doing? And I know your space is like, there's a million amazing things going on in your space. So tell everyone a little bit about it.
Yeah. So, well, the space is amazing. I love being there. I'm still seeing patients in person, but I'm also, as Madame Pamita said, it's really cool. I actually just kind of merged 2 of my favorite modalities, distance Reiki and the acupuncture. And I kind of was doing that for about a year, and my friends in New York and Canada and different places. And, when we all got quarantined, I was, people still have pain, people have headaches, neck pain, everything, they want immune support, they're having trouble sleeping. And so I just started to offer this as a service. and people are really loving it. And it actually works, I think, even better than in person, which is crazy. I'm not saying like don't go and see your acupuncturist or see me in person, but it's really great, you know, and it's fun. And so I've been doing a lot of that when I'm not seeing patients. And then I'm doing a lot of telemedicine. So what that entails is that because I work from the East and West perspective, I talk to people and then kind of see what they need. I've been having a lot of success with Chinese herbs and prevention and treatment of the coronavirus, especially in its early phases before it gets to the lungs. So I've been shipping those out all over the country, and then also just a ton of immune support. And then in the acupuncture, the distance acupuncture sessions, all of them are immune support plus whatever else is going on. And I'm working on creating a program to teach people how to do what I do. So, but there's lots of other great things too, but that's kind of what's happening at the moment.
That is really cool. That's amazing. I just typed in the link to Source Point Wellness in the chat, you guys. So if you are wanting to go over there and book a session, or get some herbs for immune support or anything like that, they can just probably go in there. And what should they do?
Oh, well, you can DM me, you can email me. My website's, I'm redoing it, but it's still up there, but it's kind of, I did it myself, so it's not very good. So it's in the process. A new one will be up next month, but it's still, you can get the basic information there. But yeah, I mean, Instagram is a great, quick and easy way just to send me a message, and then we can go from there. Yeah.
Should they go to Source Point Wellness at Source Point Wellness on Instagram to get you?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
We can do that.
I'll put that in the thing. So Diana, what are you offering? Yeah.
Before I get into myself, I get into myself with my teeth off, way too off of my head. Anyways, I just want to say, for those that are like questioning anything about distance acupuncture and Reiki, it is so powerful. Amanda did that. I cannot speak. Did a session on me yesterday afternoon, and I had like so many readings during the week, and I really needed some support, and I felt it immediately, and it felt just as strong and powerful as when I was there in person. So like, really don't disregard the distance healing. It works. And she is literally a researcher, scientist, and magical. So there's like literally nobody that does what she does. So you're very lucky to connect with her. Just sidebar, hype girl here, can't help myself.
Thank you, Bestie.
So about myself, so I'm an advanced Akashic Record Practitioner. I use and work with the Akashic Records to connect with your soul's journey. The Akashic Records is the vibrational record of your soul's journey, and that encompasses past, present, future. And what's really beautiful is my gifts have expanded within the Akashic Records, and it does include mediumship. I have all the different clairs, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, and it's really a beautiful resource to receive loving insight and clarity. And oftentimes people leave the readings feeling confident and really clear on what to do next. So I'd have to say what I've been seeing a lot, and where I'm kind of following the stream, is I'm feeling, the thing that's really exciting about this time right now is I feel all the light workers, and I feel like that's everybody that's watching, is being called for duty. Everybody's being called for duty. So I have been really supporting, I feel, those that are on the front lines, that are there to support people that are going to make a difference, and don't think that you can't make a difference, because you really are. And really being that loving support and holding space for those that need it. And I have to say, a lot of the stuff, if you're feeling tired or depressed and it feels like extra outside of, we're kind of in this, not kind of, we are in a very like fearful weather right now, that, it's not just that weather right now, it's, you're also integrating, and integrating sometimes looks like sadness or tired. And so just be really gentle with yourself. So I just want to give that little message to all of our friends that are here right now. But so I've been supporting those with everything, whether it's relationships. I've been seeing a lot of focus on career. So I'm setting some programs up to help high vibe entrepreneurs be their support. I feel very passionate about supporting the supporters. So that's something I'm really excited about. And just for our friends that are watching this, I will not be offering this much longer, so really take advantage of this offer. I'm doing a special for our friends here. I totally spit at the camera. Nice job. Many blessings to you all. I'm doing a special of $88 for 15-minute readings. They're normally $200, and I'm offering that, and it has to be used by the end of April, so April 31st. So if you've been feeling an itch to get a reading, now's the time to book. We'll give my email in the show notes. Just email me and put in the subject line, Madame Pamita, and I'll, use, what's the word? It'll be like a coupon to know that you're a mediator. But yeah, outside of that, I have the Healer Dealer podcast. I'm super passionate about connecting my listeners to the modern mystics and healers and visionaries, and really empower you to take on whatever tools feel good, make you think a little bit differently, try it on. You don't like it, you don't do it, but really just introduce you to different modalities so you can really empower yourself. So super excited about that, and super excited to be talking with all of you. And I have to say, before we continue, the thing that has been really beautiful, I feel like, about this recent, everything that's been going on, is I love that, the work Amanda does, the work that Madame Pamita does, the work that I do. I love it because in the records, stuff comes up for different people to touch base on, like all these different magical mystics and healers. And so that's just very exciting to me, because it really shows that we're all in this together. So that's my little magical soapbox right now with my tiny teacup.
Can I toot your horn? Can I toot Diana's horn for a second?
Words of affirmation. Sure. Love language.
Okay. So I know we're all feeling really scared and uncertain, and she's like talking to like a ray of sunshine and a direct, like, you have any questions, she give you direct, quick answers, like straight from your guide. That's like literally she picks up the phone. It's like, what do you think? Okay, so they're saying blah, blah, blah. Like, she's just so kind and loving, and everything is in the most loving and kind and nurturing space. And I mean, I can't recommend it enough. Like, she is so amazing. So
I second that. I mean, I really think that on our session, I bring up that one thing, because to me, I always love, I'm so ancestor oriented. I mean, we didn't even talk about like ancestor work, and you were already tapping into my ancestors, like knowing that I'm working there. But I mean, what you gave me in that session was so practical. It was so like, okay, it wasn't like, you need to open up to the universe. It's not like vague and woo woo. It's woo. I guess it's woo because it's all
direct.
woo. But it was super practical. It was spelled out in this way, and it was a ton of downloads of information.
Yeah.
Like there was no. It was lovely, because it was just like, oh yeah, and it was very.
Yeah.
You say positive, energizing. It was directive. Like you felt like. I left that session feeling like, oh, I know what my next steps are. I know what I need to do next. I know what that, so it's very,
I love that. I mean, the thing and this is the last thing I'll say in this moment about the Akashic Records, what's really beautiful is like, we have so much support around us. There are so many like beings that are there that like, it makes me emotional, because it's like, we're so supported. And it's funny because it's all about the possibility. There's nothing that you do that is like wrong, or the wrong decision, or the wrong avenue, or the wrong thing. There's no such thing as being wrong in that way of living your life. It's just a possibility. So what I love about the records is it really is like a menu of all these possibilities, and the things that come through are just suggestions. So it's, again, like, if you like it, try it on. And if not, don't. But they're very strategic, which is really fascinating. They're very strategic. So they'll have you do stuff that may not consciously make sense, but then it's like, following the breadcrumbs. So that's very exciting to me. So thank you so much.
It's so cool. Well, let's jump in. You guys ready to jump into some questions?
Let's do it. Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. It's like a party in here, isn't it? Well, the first question is kind of a little directed toward me, but I'm going to talk about it for a second, and then I'm going to turn it into a bigger question that you guys can address, and I'll do that. So Amy wanted to know, first of all, she wants to say thank you for the live Q&As. You're so welcome. I love doing this for you guys. I love connecting with you guys. I love us having this space that we can meet together, that you guys can meet each other over in the chat. And by the way, I saw someone like, I can't see the chat. If you can't see the chat, it means you need to find on your phone or your iPad the thing that says participants, hit that, and then you'll see the thing that says chat, hit that, and then you'll see the chat. So if you can't see the chat, that's how you see it. I love you guys getting together, helping one another, talking to one another, and it's all of us gathering together. I think it's so important at this time. So I'm just so grateful to be able to do that, and that we're here together and we get to have this time together. And I love seeing all you guys. So she has a question. Although I'm so drawn to using hoodoo oils and spell candles, I'm not comfortable with using the Psalms and biblical passages with them. Does that mean that hoodoo is not for me? Do these oils, workings, powders lose their effectiveness without the scriptures? No, there are plenty of hoodoo practitioners that don't use the Bible and don't use Psalm. My belief is that you create your own work of what works for you. And so if some certain thing over here works for you and you feel drawn to it, pull that into your practice. And if this thing over here works for you, pull that into your practice. You know what's best for you. And it's almost like a custom tailored outfit. If my outfit is not going to fit Amanda. It's not going to fit Diana. It's not going to fit anyone else. It's going to be tailored for me. And so my spiritual path, like what I teach, is kind of my style of working, but I expect you guys not to take it off the rack and do exactly what I'm doing, but use that as your starting point and your inspiration. So Diana, what do you think about like that? I mean, like, how do you practice? Do you practice off the rack following something,
No, I feel I have two different opinions about that. Part of me feels like learn the rules to then break them. So I always find it interesting to do research out of just my personal opinion, out of respect for the practice that you're looking to incorporate into whatever your magical practice is. But I am a big fan of taking what feels good and leaving the rest. And I think that's a great attitude to have for magic and just in life. So, but that said, I will literally do anything you tell me to do, Madame Pamita. So,
but then hopefully you're doing it and then going like, oh, like it's like following a recipe in the book. If you follow the recipe in the book, you learn how to cook, and then you learn how to cook. You don't have to follow the recipe anymore.
Yeah, but then one of your magical oils that are like for a specific spell, I just want to like douse myself in it. I'm like everyday perfume.
Yeah, it's good actually. What about you, Amanda? Do you, like in your spiritual practice, I know what the answer is because I kind of know already the answer. Your spiritual and healing practice.
Okay, well, spiritual, my mom's Christian, my dad's Jewish. So we grew up celebrating everything. And I've always been really drawn to Buddhism. But now I love celebrating the high holidays with my dad, and my mom goes to temple with my dad, and we go to church on Christmas Eve with my mom. And so I actually find religion and spirituality so beautiful, and the community and the connection to source wherever that lies. And so in my own personal practice, I think I feel I feel like I'm more of like an earth spirit, in the sense that like my nature is really where I go to. And our apartment looks like the Natural History Museum with I'm even holding this gigantic crystal right now. I'm like snuggling with it, even though it's spiky.
Oh, are we going to compare crystals now? Ooh.
I don't have a crystal to compare, you guys. Sorry. I got a leftover candy cane. How's that?
Hey,
that's what I got on my table.
Sugar. And as far as my, my medicine, my practice, I went to Cornell University, studied very, traditional psychology and anthropology. And then I went to UC Irvine, have a master's degree in research and health psychology. And then I spent 8 years studying Chinese medicine, so really learning the classics. And then I spent 3 years learning functional medicine and really learning the classics. And then, like Madame Pamita said, I really, when I'm working with patients, every person's treatment plan is different. It depends on where they need support. Is it mind? Is it body? Is it spirit? Do we go into functional medicine? Are we doing meridians, or working on the chakras, or working, doing herbal medicine? So it just depends on what people need. And so I think my upbringing of kind of being open to different religions and different philosophies kind of blended into my way that I practice medicine. And I'm always interested my background in cultural anthropology at Cornell, I've always been interested in different cultures and how they heal. So I've actually studied a lot of South American herbs as well. So I'm just interested in any type of healing and use what's applicable.
I know it's funny because Amanda and I she'll be like, oh my God. And I'll say something and she'll completely nerd out on the scientific part of it. Like, oh my God, it's like this and this and this. And she goes into great detail about it. It's like, oh my God, you're so knowledgeable. But I do feel like you pull the best of what works for that particular situation. And it may be kind of like having a palette of lots of different colors to paint with. It's better than just having, black and white only. And you can only paint black, white, and gray.
Yeah.
If you have colors, you can start to add in different layers of stuff. And I think that's the same thing with spirituality. So if, you have to, you can try, back to the original question, you can try working with the Psalms, but if you're not feeling it, it's not going to have any juju for you anyway, because it's, you're not feeling it. If that's part of magic, is the feeling, is the passion, is the connection with something. So
can I add something else too? I think,
sure.
Last thoughts on that is, I think sometimes when we're not connecting to something or not feeling it, we feel a need to have to know why. And I want to give people permission, like, you don't have to know why you're not into it or find a reason or have this deep meaning to it. You can really just say, like, not for me, and move on.
Exactly. And it doesn't mean it's wrong either. That's the other thing. I always keep telling people, this is the other thing I say all the time, is like, when I teach something and someone goes, well, I do it a different way. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm teaching the way I do it, but you can do it a different way. Try it a different way. And, if you hear dress the candle going up, and I'm saying dress the candle going down, and you're, trying it in a different way, but that way works for you, I'm not going to say it's wrong. It's just a different way. It's my way works for me. And here's what I can teach you, what I do. And you can take it, or you can try something else or whatever, and see what works for you. I think, but the exposure to different ways of doing it, I think, is really helpful, so that you can kind of know what does work for you, what to experiment with, All right, so here Nina has a question that's it's a Dr. Amanda question. As someone who deals with autoimmune disease, what kind of approach do you take? In my case, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and this applies more broadly to anyone with chronic illness like mine. I heard Madame Pamita's story about how she changed her diet and really sparked interest for me. So what, like, in a kind of brief, obviously every single person, you're going to look at them as an individual, but what are kind of some of the things, I guess, that you would deal with chronic disease or inflammation based diseases?
Well, first I do very, very extensive, like any of you guys who filled out my paperwork, like, I asked so many questions, and I spent almost like 2 hours talking to you on your first visit. And then I love labs. I get so excited when labs come in. Like, I do poop tests, I do everything.
So true.
So, like, really looking at everything, like, even just a regular blood panel that you get from your Western MD. There's so much there that I love MDs. I work with MDs. I have nothing, but there's a lot there that sometimes they don't go into the detail that could give you a lot of information. So I kind of see it as like I'm a health detective. So for your particular case, we'd look at your whole history, your physical history, your emotional history. I'd look at labs, or I'd order labs. I'd look at everything from the Chinese perspective, if there was any trauma or any emotional things that happened. We'd look at everything. If there's spiritual issues that need to be addressed, and then we kind of together come up with a treatment plan. So it's like my first few visits, it's like I'm trying to like get all the information and then kind of get to the root of it. And, in my research, because I'm also a researcher, a lot of autoimmune is usually there's something underneath it sometimes. And so I've actually been studying viruses solidly for about 3 years. And so, sometimes we test for some viruses to see if the immune system is reacting to the virus. But yes, of course, I love anti-inflammatory diets. There's a lot, you guys can ask me ones that I like. Not every diet is meant for every person. And I'm not super strict. So I think that sometimes people get really it's hard for them. I'm like, stop eating dairy, stop eating gluten, stop eating sugar. We work on like little milestones to get you to eating in the way that your body feels good. So it takes a lot of research, honestly, and detective work. But usually I have some hunches, and then that's where the intuition comes in. I'm like, ooh, I feel like this is happening.
medical medium.
But I need the validation from the lab sometimes to do that, just for my science side. So,
well,
yeah.
Here's the secret. I think all medical practitioners use intuition. There's just some that admit they use intuition and some they don't.
Yeah.
I'll say all talented medical practitioners, you know, even a really super allopathic traditional doctor is kind of intuiting what's going on, looking at the facts of like the symptoms, but they'll have hunches. You know, I've heard it many, many times, right?
Absolutely. And a lot of times they don't have time. And that's why I run my own practice. I work for myself, so I can spend as much time with people as I need to. So I think that's also part of the structure of medicine. It's just very, 15 minutes. And that's really not enough to get people's history and look at everything.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's really putting a stress on them. They have to come up with an answer in 15 minutes. And that's a lot. We've got another question from Juan. Juan wants to know, and I think this is a Diana might want to take this one. How do I bust my business? How do I what would you recommend, like as a general thing that someone could do to kind of get something going with a business?
Well, okay. My first piece of advice I think a lot of us take for granted is there is something that comes really easy to you that you probably take for granted that somebody will pay for. There is something that you have in your skill set that you are not even thinking of it being profitable because it comes so easy to you, because there's this past belief that you have to work really hard, you have to earn it, and it's your birthright to be prosperous just for showing up. So what I would ask you to do is get 10 of your closest friends or like work friends or people that you really trust and value and know are honest and genuine with their feedback, and ask them what your superpower is. Like, ask your friend, like, what do you think my superpower is? And see like the answers that come in and see how they're all threaded. There's connection between that, and just sit with that and really like own that part of yourself. And then just start to see like, okay, what could they need from this thing that I have to offer? So I think that that's a great start and a great way to sort of map out like where things could go. And then you could take the next step, which is what type of people I want to work with, and just like make up the type of client or person you want to be working with. What does that person look like? What, like literally make it up like a story and just try it on and see how it feels. And really trust that if you're coming from a heart center and using your heart as your inner compass, it's going to feel really good. So.
Anything you want to add to that, Amanda? Just agreed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with everything Diana says, basically. But I think that right now, I would say that, and you can reach out to me and Diana and Madame Pamita too, but there's so much free content right now about how to start a business, or, maximize your business or take your business virtually. And I just, with Diana and I are in a mastermind, which we can share about if you guys want to email us about it or DM or whatever. And there's so many great people, just teaching you working with money and how to build a course and how to, there's just a lot of great free content out there right now. And so we're happy to guide you if you reach out to us, to some of the people that we like that's worked for us. So
great.
Oh, I do have one more thing to add. I love ping ponging with Amanda. It's like ping pong.
It's really wonderful. It's really wonderful.
Oh, sorry. Were you done saying what you were saying?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I had to be like Aries fire starter, like you're like, hey woman.
It's good.
What I wanted to add on was I think you have to think in terms of collaboration, really, than just me, myself, and I. And I think that's a huge thing. As far as me, that's something that's really shifted, and it's something that I thought I was always collaborative, and I am, but when you're wanting to take things and make them happen, ask for help, don't be shy, and anything you do is feedback. So put yourself out there, show up. And if people are willing to people are going to show up for you if you show up for yourself. So just put it out there. There's so much free content right now, like Dr. Cohen said, like that there's no better time in history to be successful than it is now. Even though it feels like the end of the world at this moment, it really isn't. There is no better time to make things happen and do really well and also be of service. So that's what I have to say very intensely with my hand like this, with my big ring that is very heavy.
I will add one more thing. I think that if you are of service, I think it's really a time to think outside the box. And even Madame Pamita and I, can I tell them about our tea?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so we were thinking, oh yeah. So we were thinking of, she's such a magical herbalist and I'm an herbalist, for a medicinal herbalist. So we're thinking of putting some teas together.
Yes.
Together.
We were going to do it. It really is Dr. Amanda's idea. She's the one that said, oh my God, I do all these teas, but I want to bring in like understanding of magic and how these herbs work magically, like how the magic and the medicinal can be combined in one. I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I would totally do that. So we're going to be amazing. We're going to work on that.
So next level. I cannot wait. I will be on your beta test.
So if Diana survives, then we know that it's going to work.
I'll just hop on a rocket ship.
All right. So now this is a question I think I'm going to give to Dr. Amanda first, but I think you guys both going to be able to answer this one. Dawn says, I'm an ICU nurse. What can I do to spread hope to my peers? So all the people that are in the hospitals. How do you deal with that energy? Like, I don't even think this just applies to hospitals. I think it's like in all of our contacts.
Everywhere.
So how do
I think, this is an unprecedented time. And I think that there is so much fear around us. And I think, of course we're fearful. We don't know what's happening. And I think that really focusing on community and supporting each other. So, I have some friends that are doctors he's a doctor in Rochester and they don't have masks. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon and I'm mailing him out. I had some surgical masks that I'm mailing him out stuff. And, I feel like we're almost like trading supplies, like just like seeing what do you need? How can I support you? Really, I think that, I could tell you the immune things. There's tons of immune things that we can talk about at some point, but I think it's really this idea of connecting in a new way to really be there for each other. And, like even Diana and I were like, do you need some hummus? Here's some bananas. I got a bag of apples. Like I feel like we're just kind of trading and just to share knowledge. And I'm happy to share some things that I've found that are really helpful for the immune system that, you could share with your colleagues. I'm happy, any knowledge that I have, I'm happy to share. But I think it really is, there's been research studying that social support increases the immune function, helps your immune system. So I think bonding in a way to come together as like we're warriors instead of, oh my God, we're going to get sick and we're not going to be able to do our jobs. My job is to keep people well and out of the hospitals. And then your job is to, keep your morale strong and keep the people alive that, are on respirators. So we're all doing our parts and I'm happy to share anything that you need. Just reach out to me.
Yeah. How about you, Diana? What are you telling your clients about what to do to keep their morale up?
I think a couple things. I think whatever your practice is, as far as checking in, tuning in, whatever that looks like for you, as far as like meditation or grounding, I feel like you have to like double, if not triple up on that part of your self-care. And I also think that I believe that a lot of people are experiencing a spiritual upgrade. And I think that's why there's quite a bit of people that are not feeling so good. Because if you think of even your heart expanding, it's like growing pains. So I really feel strongly that, it's so important to ground. It's so important if you do have the privilege to like go outside for a second and hug a tree, it is going to be like 20 times more grounding than it was like 2 weeks ago. Also, because, this just, in the background, like, as far as like an energetic warfare you want to talk about, it's like the energy of the pandemic is like a fear weather, right? As this is growing, the Earth's energy is expanding. So it's like connecting back to nature in any way is, it's super powerful. So that's why you may feel those waves of energetic going up and down. Now to go back, so the person that asked the question, is she an ICU nurse?
Yeah, he is
He is. Oh, well,
yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for everything you're doing. Like, literally not be able to, I just like, thank you. I think that especially for those that are like in direct contact and you're in that weather and it's like you can't look outside, you're literally in an enclosed environment, you have to ground and you have to also protect your energy. And an easy way you could do that, just first thought, right thought, I'm telling myself right now is, as you're going into the hospital or your office or any environment you're feeling like it's going to be really heavy, just imagine like a light bubble, whatever color feels good to you. It can be white, purple, blue, whatever feels good. And imagine zipping up your energy. You're just going to zip it up. Okay. And then what you can do too is like when you're leaving the building or office, you can just imagine like shedding, like you're like a lizard or snake and you're just going to shed, like, really trust in your own capabilities and powers to clear yourself. I think clearing yourself and grounding yourself, and especially if you're in a hospital or like any kind of environment where you're feeling like stagnant energy, you really have to clear and ground. Like I would say like 3 times a day, at least. And like Madame Pamita has like great like bath salts. Taking bath salts is really great because it's also
her protection oil.
Oh my gosh, protection oil.
Her protection oil.
You can get a selenite stick and just like brush yourself. And, just, you're really going to have to up on the self-care as far as grounding and clearing. Wouldn't you say, Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's the physical hygiene that, washing your hands and doing all the protocols, but then it's the spiritual hygiene too, because when you're in an environment where you're surrounded by people that are, potentially dying, that you have to, when you're done for the day, if you are getting breaks, it's the spiritual hygiene. It's the, how do I do this? And I think that you can reach out to any of us and we can tell you like what we do, because normally, right now I'm not seeing as many people in person, but normally, I'm in people's energy all day. There's a lot of people and, I used to get really tired and worn out, and now I don't feel that way at all. And so there's just some tools that I'm happy to share about that if you want to reach out.
I have
about that, or any of you guys.
Sorry.
You have one more thing?
Yeah. I have one more thing to say. I think also movement, even if you're in your house, like moving the energy out of your body. And I think also you need to have boundaries with your intake of the media. Whatever it is, whatever your favorite, I'd say like instead of going on multiple, different news outlets, pick one and stick to that one and do a time limit in the morning or evening so you can, feel like you're staying in the know, but not being wrapped up in it. So that's just my personal advice. You could try it on, but I think, I definitely feel a lot more buzzy and like anxious if, and I think everybody's on their phones a lot more and looking on Instagram, which is, great. But I think also just like give yourself like some time limits and, maybe read a book a little bit. I don't know, for your off time if you're able to.
Well, I kind of riffing on that is one of the things that I learned when I was doing functional, working with a dietitian. We did something called an elimination diet. Now, I think you can do the elimination diet on all of that energy out there. Obviously, there are some things that you can't eliminate. Like you can't eliminate your job. You can't eliminate the people, the coworkers. You can't eliminate something, but you can eliminate a lot of the extraneous stuff. And this applies not only just to you in the ICU, but to everybody out there. It's like, I'm going to stop my consumption and then I'm going to reintroduce it. And when I reintroduce it, I'm going to see how I feel. Now we do that in dietary ways. We go, oh, okay, I've really eating super, super clean. And now I'm going to reintroduce peppers and I'm going to see how I do. Oh, peppers are not good for me. I'm burping. I'm, feeling gassy. It's not good for me. Or I bring them in and I'm fine. It's no problem. So I think you can even do that in terms of what you're bringing in there. So does talking with your friends make you feel up or does it make you feel down? If it does make you feel down, then maybe you want to talk to some different friends. I mean, even individual friends, you may want to like gauge, what you do. Does reading a book make me feel better or does it make me feel worse? Does watching the news make me feel better or does it make me feel worse? Does looking at Instagram make me feel better or make me feel worse? And you can look at each thing, but with an awareness of stepping outside of yourself and looking and see, how does this make me feel? Not just feeling the feeling, if that makes sense.
Or like, I should do this. I should know what's going on. I should be exactly up to date. I'm going to check the news every half an hour because that can be so overwhelming to the nervous system.
No, yeah, for sure. For me, I cannot watch any news. I can read a little bit of news, but even that, I'm like lately I've been like, I need to dial this back a little bit. Like I'm doing my due diligence. I'm staying inside, I can get it filtered to me. I can focus on my clients, focus on my spiritual practice, doing my work, writing my blogs, doing the whatever that is much more nourishing to me. So I think, Dawn, for you and for everybody else out there, it's like gauging each activity that you have to do so that you have the energy to go into the ICU and deal with something that's really intense, So yeah. All right. So Rose has a question. It's wonderful to be with you all. I'd love any advice on boosting my health and wellness right now in body and mind. So you guys, I think probably Dr. Amanda has some stuff.
Yeah.
And I know Diana has some stuff too.
All right. So anything I say, health disclaimer, ask your doctor before any interactions or anything. So disclaimer. All right. So I've been using a lot of Chinese herbs. So that's something, just reach out to me. But I definitely, knock on wood, none of my patients have, no, my earbud fell out. Knock on wood. None of my patients have gotten sick yet and are feeling pretty good. And, I've had people that start to get the sore throat the first phase, and then I have them take the herbs and increase it. And then they start to get the fever and then it goes down. So that those specifics, if you have a herbalist you're working with, that's great. You can reach out to me. I can ship anywhere in the US. Couple things that you may not know about that there's some research just came out, a melatonin. It actually helps break, with the disease, there's kind of different steps. There's the pre-phase, the sore throat phase, and then this, it's called a cytokine storm. It's like a rise of inflammation in the body, and then it goes to the lungs. So they found that melatonin it keeps the immune system strong, and it lowers the inflammation in the body, and also has some antiviral benefits. So that's just something, you guys might already have. Of course, we know vitamin C and zinc is really helpful. I just was doing some research today and found out that rhodiola, which, you guys might have just for like stress in the adrenals, actually is like an herbal respirator. And so that can have some really great benefits to keeping the airways open as soon as you start to feel under the weather. And then maybe as a prevention, taking it just to keep your nervous system, in good shape. I use probiotics to keep the immune system strong. There's olive leaf. I have different compounds of different formulations of Western herbs that I use that people really like. But some of these off-use things of the melatonin, the rhodiola, are pretty cool, and sometimes they're in a lot of people's medicine cabinets. So, yeah.
And I have a question after Diana. Anything you can recommend, Diana, for keeping the health and wellness, mind and body, spirit?
As far as body, I literally will do anything Dr. Amanda tells me to do, and I follow that pretty strongly. So
Yes,
I feel
she's
very
good.
supported. I feel very strong. And, you know, what I love is that she doesn't just leave you in the dark as a patient. She'll really explain everything. So it really empowers you. So if you have like your little like medicine cabinet of Chinese herbs, I know now intuitively like what I may need to support me with how I'm feeling. So I really, you know, I think that feels very empowering, and not just making up a story of saying like, oh, I have this symptom and oh, it must mean it's corona or something like that. I know, you know, because I've built that relationship with Dr. Amanda and being connected to my body, I know like what to look out for and how my body speaks to me. I will say this, not being a doctor or anything related to medical field, I do feel now for myself, this has been helpful, and this has been coming up for a lot of clients, is when you wake up in the morning, you know, to just check in with yourself and ask your body what it needs that day. Like, what does my body need today? And that could be like, you need to move a little bit more, you need to rest, you need to eat more, you need to eat less. Like, just really, this is an opportunity to really connect with your body and be in conversation with your body, and really look at also, as far as like a mind spirit, I think because there's so much going on, that we all need to have really massive kindness and gentleness, not just for each other, but for ourselves. So if you're trying on new things for your new reality in this moment, be really gentle and patient with yourself, because it's going to feel like extra hard in the moment. It's a new thing. There takes time to adjust to it. So that is my big advice as far as strengthening yourself, like mind and spirit, is just like really have like wild compassion for yourself and take care of yourself, and really trust it. If you don't feel like being on a call, don't do it. If you're used to being around people and you miss being around people, set up a Zoom call that's for free and invite your friends and have a party. I did that. Like, it was my birthday this last weekend and I was sad. I love having people I love around me and celebrate. And I was like feeling a little like sorry for myself. And I was like, what could strengthen me right now? And it's like, well, just ask for what you want. And so I just made my own party. So I just want to empower you to like really just think about what it is you need. And you can do that not just for your body, but also for your mind and your spirit. So you can literally kind of go through each one. Actually, I'm getting that everybody here should ask, what does their body need? What does their spirit need? And what does their heart need? So I feel like having that kind of attitude with the, like, I feel like when I think of Chinese herbs, I just think of like the army, or like, I just think of like, raw, they're like backing me up.
Little warriors.
Yeah, I literally feel like that. I feel very supported in that way. So I hope that helped.
Well, yeah, you know what? Also, I'm going to tell you something, you guys, all of you guys, but Diana especially. There's an app on your phone that you can get at the App Store called House Party. Do you guys know about House Party?
No.
For all the extroverts out there, or all the people that are cooped up and alone, it is the most amazing thing. You join House Party, and what it does is you add your circle of friends the people that you love and you want to talk to. What it does is when you show up on House Party, it will ping your friends and says, hey, Diana's in the house. And if they're available, they can come over to you and hang out with you. So it's kind of, and you can have multiple people all hanging out together. Like, so you don't, this is not something that you want to put to your whole,
I know, I just got anxiety of like pressure.
Yeah, me too.
No, you do not want to, you don't invite your contacts. You don't invite your entire list of contacts.
Oh God.
Just invite your super special inner circle. And then
I can't breathe.
I feel anxious now.
No, I'm like a person that likes, oh, I have my little closed circle, and then they see like, oh, my friend sees I'm on. And they can say, oh, hey, can I come in? And if you're like busy, you don't have to let them in. Or if you're talking to someone else, you can not. But it's like a way if you're like, so they don't automatically come in. It's not like everybody automatically. Fish around.
I love that. Well, it's funny because Amanda, definitely says that she's an introvert, and I always joke that I'm an extroverted introvert. So like, I like being with people, and then I like to retreat.
Yeah.
And
you just don't turn it on, but you turn it on when you are wanting to be social, and it's a way for like anybody. It's a kind of a way to say, hey, has anyone else lonely right now and want to have my circle of friends.
I think it's great.
That's really great.
Oh, you guys, I thought you would love it. Anyway, I have one question for Dr. Amanda, and then we're gonna wrap things up. One thing I heard is that you should not be taking, if you have the symptoms of COVID, you shouldn't be taking, oh, by the way, and I'm that person that's like, my toe hurts, and I Google toe pain COVID. I'm like that person, you know, like, oh my God.
No, you have me now. No, you have me. Just ask me. Yeah.
I know. Don't Google. Anyway, there's the question people are saying, don't take Motrin, don't take Advil, don't take Aleve.
Yeah.
But can you take, and they're saying to take Tylenol, but I'm always like wary of Tylenol. But what about aspirin? I haven't heard one way or another about aspirin.
That. Yeah, I haven't heard one way or the other about aspirin. That's an interesting question. I can look and find out.
And you'll tell me.
I do feel like that, and I will tell you, but I do feel like the research keeps like every day, like there's like studies published every day on COVID. It's amazing. These amazing researchers are doing stuff. So, right now it seems to be the ibuprofen. I'm not sure about the Aleve, and the Tylenol is the one of choice. I prefer, there's a product that I like, you can reach out to me, called Cytoquel, and it has turmeric, black tea, resveratrol. There's some other things in there, and it keeps the immune system down, but the inflammation down. But yeah, I have to look at the aspirin aspect. I'm not entirely sure. You know, I have Chinese herbs for fever, so I use those. But I think that the research is coming out more and more. So I at this point, I haven't checked for a few days, so I can't say for sure. But I'll find out.
Interesting to find out. That'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
You can post it on your Instagram, and people can find it over there. You can follow. They can follow you on Source Point Wellness, and if you find that, and you guys that are interested in that, she'll. If you find it, whatever you find out, you can post it there, and then everyone can see it.
Yeah. And I did want to say, I'm also doing telemedicine too. So even, I'm doing the distance acupuncture, but all these things I can help as well. So.
Yeah. So if someone has questions, but they don't necessarily need or want to have a session to do acupuncture, they can call and say, hey, I've got this symptom. What does it mean? Can I take aspirin? My toe hurts. Does it mean I have corona?
Right. All those things.
Oh my gosh. I just had a ring in my ear. I don't know if you guys heard that, but anyway, so we are going to wrap it up. It's the end of our show, but I wanted to let everyone know again, thank you guys so much. It was a big record-breaking crowd. We had over 70 people in the room, which is amazing. If we're going to put this over on YouTube later on this week, I still have to put up last week's one with Honoreo. I didn't put that up yet, but I'm going to do that tonight. And then I'll put up this one later on in a few days. So you can find this on YouTube if you missed part of it and you want to see what you missed. Thank you guys all for your amazing questions. Oh my gosh, these questions are so good. And I think so helpful to so many people about, what to do at this very special, unique time right now. If you want to reach, well, let's start at Diana. If they want to reach you, where's the best place they can find you and your special, all of that?
Okay. So best way to reach me is either on Instagram, and my handle is at Diana Zalucky. So that's DIANAZA Lucky. You can also email me at Diana Zalucky, all lowercase together, at gmail.com, and just put in the subject line Madame Pamita to get the special of 88 for a 50-minute reading. That has to be used by the end of April, and that's as long as the special is going to be running. It's a great way to check in, tap in, get some insight to carry you through, and really connect you to the loving resource that is accessible to you all the time, but I'm just there to connect you. So
it's and I'll tell you something, that 15 minutes, you record it, right? You record those sessions?
Yeah. Yes.
And you will get so much packed into that. You can listen back to the recording and still.
Like a fire hose.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. So it's not going to be, it's going to be a lot of information. Yeah. You're definitely going to want to have a recording or take notes or something, because it's going to be a lot of information that, you'll want to process over time. So it's really, really good. And for you, Dr. Amanda, I know where they can reach you, but you want to tell them where they can reach you and how they can reach you?
Yeah.
And
Yes, I do. You can always DM me, but at Facebook, I'm not the best at. I don't know, but my email is Dr. Cohen at sourcepointwellness.com. So it's DRCOHEN at sourcepointwellness.com. And I'm going to have some special for you guys I haven't figured out yet. so just email me.
Special is they can get distance acupuncture. They can get herbs overnighted to them. I mean, that's the special.
Yeah.
I mean, just all this that you can, like you know, you don't have to go to an emergency hospital with all the crazy germs. You don't have to, you don't have to go to your doctor's office. You can get some help and have a consultation, and you don't even have to leave your home, which is something really, I think, so special right now. You know, if you're really feeling like I need to stay in and hunker down, you know, for those of us in the big cities, I think that's really important. So I put down in the chat, if you look over there, you'll see the links for Diana, and you'll see the links for Dr. Amanda. And I want to thank you guys so much for being here. It was like, did that hour fly by?
Oh my gosh.
I was like,
I love you. I love this.
I told them, it's like, it's going to fly by so fast. So anyway, thank you guys, all you Spell Squad members out there. Thank you so much. Next week, oh God, I always do this. I forget to go and look. I always get excited about about who my guest is this week, and I forget to look at and see who next week is. Next week, my guest, can we have a drum roll, please, while I find the information?
Wait, I did a clapping awkwardly.
Okay.
I could get my shaman drum, but
okay, you guys, this is great. My guest next week is going to be James Jacob Pieri, who's the Osset Gypsy. He's the Osset Gypsy. Woo! He's really, really cool. He's from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania. He's Romani heritage. He is a full-on gypsy, and he is somebody who's going to talk about gypsy magic and all of that stuff. So it's going to be a really cool, super magical one. We had our health one. Now we're going to have our magical one next week. So hopefully you'll join us then. Yay. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Spell Squad, for being here. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next Sunday. And bye, you guys, and thank you, both of you, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.